Receipts, Not Rhetoric, a field guide to sovereign provisioning by Pirate First for MXTM's newsletter.
How to build without asking permission or breaking the law. December 25, 2025. Opening statement. Before we go any further, let me be precise about what this is and what it is not. This is not a pitch. It's not a product launch. It's not a financial system, and it's not a movement. What you're about to hear is a design briefing, spoken out loud, about how to stay operational in a world where platforms disappear, money freezes, and permission becomes conditional. We are living through a phase where survival is increasingly procedural. Not heroic. Not ideological. Procedural. The question is no longer what do you believe? It's what still works when belief stops helping. Everything in this series comes from that constraint. I'm outlining a system that is intentionally boring, non-custodial, non-financial, non-heroic. A system that does not ask for trust, because trust is expensive and fragile. Instead, it asks for clarity. Itemized needs. Directed provisioning. Receipts instead of rhetoric. This is not about supporting creators. It's about maintaining continuity of work that would otherwise disappear, not because it lacks value, but because the infrastructure around it is hostile, brittle, or extractive. You'll hear me talk about jurisdictions, about regulators, about red lines and shutdown clauses. Not because I'm afraid of scrutiny, but because anything worth keeping must survive it. The color codes you'll hear, green, yellow, red, aren't branding. They're navigation markers. Green means low friction. Yellow means proceed carefully. Red means stop or shut it down. If that sounds severe, it's because it is. Sovereignty is not about freedom from limits. It's about choosing the right ones early, before someone else chooses them for you. This is Pirate First. Not because it's lawless, but because it sails by charts, not by applause. Let's begin. Pirate First, MXTM's newsletter. Mice in context. Start Building Man, a replication-first framework for civilizational provisioning, plain text condensed white paper version 1.0. Pirate First for MXTM's newsletter. Abstract. Start Building Man, SBM, is not a movement, platform, or organization. It is a replication framework for building small, durable, uncapturable systems of human provisioning. Its purpose is to demonstrate that human life can be supported reliably, decently, and independently at a low, fixed cost, without reliance on centralized markets, charismatic leadership, or ideological cohesion. SBM rejects growth as a metric of success. Its unit of scale is replication. Its unit of legitimacy is uptime. Its legacy is documentation written for strangers under stress. Problem statement. Modern civilization optimizes for scale, speed, and narrative coherence. These optimizations produce fragility. Growth concentrates failure, abstraction hides maintenance costs, institutions reward storytelling over reliability, cities externalize provisioning until it collapses. Cascading failure is no longer hypothetical. It is systemic, multi-domain, and nonlinear. Existing institutions adapt slowly because their survival depends on legitimacy, not function. SBM asks a narrower, colder question. What still works when permission, capital, platforms, and trust fail simultaneously? Core thesis. If the future cannot be scaled, it must be replicated. Systems that only work at large scale, with centralized coordination, belief alignment, or continuous funding are liabilities. Systems that can be copied by strangers, maintained locally, and abandoned cleanly are assets. Civilizational resilience emerges from many small, boring, independent systems, not from heroic coordination or global consensus. The replication unit. SBM defines the replication unit as a seed camp supporting 50 to 300 humans. This range is not ideological. It is biological and logistical. Below 50, redundancy collapses. Above 300, governance detaches from maintenance. Within range, truth can circulate without myth. Each seed camp must be able to provide food, water, shelter, energy, waste handling, and basic connectivity. Operate within a fixed cost envelope, $250/month/person target, fail locally without cascading damage, be forked without permission. No shared treasuries. No central authority. Only shared protocols, failure logs, and improvements. Axiom I, replication, growth. Growth increases coordination costs and decision latency. Replication resets complexity. A system qualifies only if it can be instantiated by a stranger with no access to founders, brands, or capital markets. Replication occurs when provisioning capacity exceeds local demand, maintenance saturation is reached, or exit conditions are triggered. Forking is not schism. It is success. Axiom 2, all-terrain or IT doesn't count. A system that works only here is a hobby. Core logic must survive across at least 3 terrain classes, e.g. desert, delta, subsurface. Local adaptations are allowed, core invariants are not. Invariants include water-first design, interruptible energy, a passive thermal management, a human-scale maintenance, a localized failure modes. Depth, pressure, and geology are treated as assets, not hazards. Axiom 3, occupy wilderness, not politics. SBM does not confront power directly. It routes around it. Low legibility spaces force negotiation with physics instead of ideology. Boredom is camouflage. Visibility is treated as a tax. Legal minimalism is preferred, temporary structures, reversible footprints, a compliance without symbolism. A system that cannot be dismantled cannot remain sovereign. Axiom 4, governance emerges from maintenance. Authority is not granted. It condenses. Decision rights attached to exposure, water maintainers decide water policy, energy maintainers decide energy trade-offs. Those who maintain nothing advise only. Metrics, uptime, intention, a recovery speed, a vision, a replaceability, charisma. Conflict resolution prioritizes continuity. Exit is non-punitive. Axiom V, templates, not communes. Belonging is consumptive. Transfer is generative. SBM optimizes for templates that move, not communities that entrench. Time-bounded roles, mandatory documentation is skill circulation or founder irrelevance as success condition. If a system requires belief, it will not last. If it requires skill, it will spread. Anti-capture constraints. To remain uncapturable, SBM enforces hard price ceilings on provisioning, no equity extraction from templates, no brand ownership, no permanent leadership, no growth targets. If it can be owned, it will be corrupted. If it can be copied, it will spread. Institutional interface, X-Prize reframe. To interface with institutions without surrendering control, SBM is legible as a prize challenge. Goal: demonstrate 3 independent seed camps operating for 12 months across distinct terrains at fixed cost, without centralized grids or ideological governance. Judging criteria: uptime, cost, fidelity, maintenance load, exit behavior, replicability. Judges score systems, not stories. All outputs are open, non-exclusive, non-commercializable. Replication without permission is the success condition. Failure, exit, and ending. Failure is acceptable only if documented. Sanitize failure is disqualification. Every system must include crisis protocol, sponsor, exit plan, a clean dissolution procedure. A clean ending is not a failure. It is the rarest form of success. How this evolves without breaking the covenant. SBM does not become bigger. It becomes more numerous. Evolution occurs only through independent forks, quiet adoption, unattributed replication. No central roadmap. No canonical version. No final form. Cities may emerge as byproducts, but never as goals. The covenant holds as long as replication beats expansion, maintenance beats narrative, exit remains possible. The moment it demands loyalty, it has failed. Conclusion. Start building men is not an answer to the future. It is a filter applied to the present. What survives replication under constraint earns legitimacy. What collapses into narrative is archived and forgotten. No belief required. No future promised. Only a record. Only systems. Only proof. Pirate first MXTM. On avance in silence. Le res suivra, ou pas. The following isn't fintech theater, it's infrastructure that refuses capture. This is an augmentation, not a pivot. Pirate first voice. High context. Plain text. No glow. No begging. No saints. Just systems. From Burn to Build Addendum, the Financial Sovereign Stack version 1.1 MXTM's newsletter, Pirate First. Hostile regulator safe description. Dry on the surface. Boring by design. No promises, no bravado, no triggers. This is the version you hand to someone whose job is to stop things. Preamble, why money had to be rebuilt too. Provisioning collapses faster than ideology, but finance collapses first and quietest. Not because money disappears, but because permission does. The moment survival depends on identity documents you don't possess, platforms that can be switched off, donors who can't verify impact, intermediaries who skim trust. You are no longer sovereign. You are merely tolerated. Start building men required a financial layer that behaves like the rest of the system, replicable, permission minimal, auditable without surveillance, survivable under hostility, boring enough to last. This addendum defines that layer. The financial thesis, uncomfortable but true. Cash is opaque. Platforms are extractive. Charity is lossy. Influence is theatrical. What survives is directed provisioning with receipts. Not support me. Not believe in me. But here is what keeps me operational. Here is proof it was used. Here is what changed because of it. Anything else is narrative, and narrative is fragile under stress. The Sovereign Financial Stack, SFS. The SFS is not a currency. It is not a DAO. It is not a token. It is a procurement and proof stack optimized for creators, operators, and builders living under constraint. Layer 1, Value Transport, Lightning First. Bitcoin Lightning Network as the base rail, micropayments, instant settlement, no chargebacks, no platform freezes, works when banks don't. Lightning is chosen not for ideology, but for latency and survivability. This is the bloodstream. Layer 2, Intent and Identity, NOST. NOST as the message bus, public keys, not profiles, no platform ownership of audience, zaps as native value signals. On NOST, patronage is visible or support is attributable, spam is expensive, identity is sovereign. No feeds to game. No algorithm to seduce. Just signal. Layer 3, Procurement OS, the core innovation. This is where Buy Me a Coffee dies quietly. Instead of money hope misuse we get need directed credit receipt proof of life. Examples, 1 month of ChatGPT Pro, groceries, receipt bound, transit/lodging/hardware, connectivity/tool/power. Patrons don't donate. They provision. The system enforces item-level specificity, time-bounded use, receipt anchoring, hash or image, public or semi-public proof. This protects patrons from fraud, creators from suspicion, the system from decay. Trust is replaced with verification. Layer 4, intermediation without capture. Yes, some rails still require bridges. Reality check, OpenAI doesn't take Lightning, Amazon doesn't care about sovereignty, Starbucks still sells coffee. The stack tolerates temporary intermediaries, bit refill, prepaid cards, vouchers, without romanticizing them. Rules: no dependency on a single provider and no permanent KYC choke points, always swappable, always documented. Intermediaries are treated like fuel filters, not engines. Layer 5, ledger of contribution, not equity. Here's where most systems rot. We don't. Patrons may opt into contribution tracking, impact visibility, future upside participation. But no equity promises, no securities theater, no false expectations. If upside occurs, it is voluntary, proportional, documented, non-custodial. This is co-production, not speculation. If nothing happens, nothing is owed. Clean. Brutal. Honest. The Loyalty Loop, Anti-Corporate Edition. Merchants participate because it benefits them, not because of virtue cosplay. Mechanism: merchants offer rebates or credits, patrons receive future discounts, creators remain provisioned, everyone saves friction. No points. No gamification. No dopamine economy. Just reduced waste. Why this does not break the covenant? The original covenant stands. Replication, growth, maintenance, narrative, exit, loyalty. The SFS does not centralize funds, it does not require belief, it does not trap participants, it does not scale faster than trust. Anyone can fork it. Anyone can abandon it. No one is owned by it. If it ever demands allegiance, it is to be discarded. Failure modes, acknowledged in advance. This stack will fail if it becomes a brand, it promises riches, it hides losses, it fetishizes purity, it forgets hunger is real. It survives only if needs remain explicit, proof remains boring, money remains a tool, builders remain replaceable. Final word: pirate first. This is not about money. It's about not wasting human effort when the margins are thin and the noise is loud. It's about letting those who can see support what actually works, without being scammed, sermonized, or surveilled. From burn to bold means burning illusion, burning dependency, a burning theatrical poverty. And building continuity, dignity, proof. Quietly. Hostile regulator, safe description. Sovereign procurement and patronage stack, compliance-facing summary. Purpose and scope. This system is a non-custodial procurement and documentation framework designed to help independent creators, researchers, and operators receive in-kind support, goods and services, from third parties. It does not function as a bank, a payment processor, a money transmitter, an investment vehicle, a securities offering, a pool fund, a charity or donation platform. It facilitates direct third-party purchases and credits, initiated and completed by the supporter, not the platform. Core function. The system allows an individual operator to publicly document operational needs, e.g., software subscriptions, food, transportation, hardware. A third-party supporter may independently choose to fulfill a listed need by purchasing a good or service directly from a merchant or providing a merchant-issued credit, voucher, or subscription. The platform never takes custody of fiat currency, cryptocurrency, goods or merchant balances. All transactions occur outside the system between the supporter and the merchant. Payment and value flow. The system does not process payments. The system does not intermediate funds. The system does not convert currency. Where digital payment rails are referenced, e.g., Lightning Network, they are used by supporters at their own discretion or via third-party wallets or services entirely outside the platform's control. The platform only records user-submitted attestations, e.g., need fulfilled, and optional receipts or proofs supplied voluntarily. No custody/no control. At no point does the system hold user funds, escrow value, issue IOUs, or promise delivery, guarantee fulfillment. All fulfillment risk remains between the supporter and the merchant. The platform provides no enforcement, no arbitration, and no recovery mechanisms. No investment or profit promise. The system does not sell tokens, issue shares, promise returns, pool contributions, or distribute profits. Any optional acknowledgement of support or future discretionary benefit is non-binding, non-transferable, not guaranteed, not marketed as profit or yield. There is no expectation of financial return. Documentation, not finance. The system's primary function is documentation, not finance. It provides public or semi-public logs of needs or voluntary proofs of fulfillment, chronological records of activity. These records are informational only and have no contractual force. Identity and access. Users operate via cryptographic identifiers, public keys. No identity verification is performed by default. The platform does not certify identity, eligibility, or status. Compliance with local laws remains the responsibility of each user. Merchant relationships. The platform has no exclusive partnerships. Merchants are not agents or affiliates. Any discounts, rebates, or credits are offered directly by merchants to supporters or operators outside the platform. The platform does not negotiate pricing or terms. Anti-misuse safeguards. To reduce misuse, the system emphasizes itemized needs, time-bounded listings, optional receipt attachment, public accountability through visibility. These are design preferences, not enforcement mechanisms. Termination and exit. Users may cease participation at any time. No funds or assets are retained by the platform. Records remain as user-published data, subject to applicable laws. The system does not impose lock-in. Summary for regulatory review. This system is best understood as a public needs board combined with optional documentation tools operating on a non-custodial, non-financial basis. It does not intermediate value and does not replace regulated financial services. End of description. Quiet systems are meant to last. How to use this without ruining it. A creator field guide to the sovereign procurement stack. Not inspirational. Not motivational. This is the version that keeps you alive, solvent adjacent, and uncapturable. First principle, read this twice. This system is not for getting rich. It is for staying operational long enough to matter. If you try to look successful, sound important, scale prematurely, convert attention into leverage, you will break it. Quickly. Publicly. Permanently. This stack rewards clarity, restraint, and boredom. What you are actually doing. You are not fundraising. You are not monetizing. You are not building a fan base. You are publishing your operational reality. That's it. People don't support you. They support continuity of work they respect. The only 3 things you may publish. If it doesn't fit one of these, don't post it. 1. Current needs, itemized, specific. Good, ChatGPT Pro, 1 month, groceries for 5 days, receipt bound, used mouse/replacement cable, 2 nights lodging, specific dates. Bed, support my journey, anything helps, emergency fund, believe in the mission. Ambiguity kills trust. 2. Proof of use, boring by design. When something is fulfilled, post a receipt, screenshot, or photo, one sentence of confirmation, no gratitude essays. Example. ChatGPT Proactive. Used for drafting Chapter 3. Receipt attached. That's it. No flexing. No drama. 3. Output trace. Show what the provisioning enabled, a page written, a sketch completed, a prototype updated, a day sustained. Not performance. Just continuity. What you must never do. If you do any of the following, you contaminate the system. Ask for cash because it's easier, bundle needs, monthly support tier, promise future returns, tease upside in name investors, rank supporters, create urgency narratives, guilt people. This is provisioning, not extraction. The golden rule of scale. If your needs start sounding generic, you're going too fast. The system breaks when you can no longer explain why you need something, you stop knowing exactly what it's for, you request faster than you can document. Replication requires slowness at the edges. On patrons, important. Patrons are not your audience. They are temporary commentainers. Treat them accordingly, no emotional labor, no access expectations, no private channels unless necessary. Public documentation is the contract. If someone wants intimacy, redirect them to the work. On receipts and proof. Receipts are not about surveillance. They are about ending suspicion. You don't explain receipts, you don't apologize for them, you don't curate them. You post them and move on. Anyone offended by this was never going to help you anyway. On hardware and merch. Hardware requests must be specific, justified, time-bounded. Good, used HeroCam for documentation, model acceptable. Bad, upgrade my setup, pro gear, I deserve better tools. Merch, if any, must be secondary, optional, non-exclusive. Never turn identity into inventory. On AI and automation. AI is not your brand. It is your unpaid intern. Use it to draft, summarize, document, translate, maintain logs. Do not anthropomorphize it, claim authority through it, let it speak for you. You remain accountable. On visibility. Low visibility is a feature. If something goes viral, slow down, narrow requests, increase documentation, refuse scale. Attention is a tax. Pay it with discipline or it will bankrupt you. On exit, yes, plan for it. Every post should be survivable. If you disappear, the platform dies, the network fragments. Your work should remain legible without you. That's sovereignty. The smell test. Before posting anything, ask. Would this still make sense to a hostile stranger with no context? If the answer is no, don't post it. Final word, pirate first. This stack works only if you resist urgency, performance, gratitude, theater, imagined futures. It is not a ladder. It is a life support rail. Use it to stay upright. Use it to keep writing. Use it to outlast noise. And if one day you no longer need it, document that too. Red Team, likely regulatory objections. Red Team Scrum, paired with neutral, de-escalating responses. No swagger. No philosophy. Just answers that close doors quietly. With neutral, non-provocative responses, compliance-facing. Objection 1, this looks like an unlicensed money transmission service. Response, the system does not accept, hold, transmit, convert, or settle funds on behalf of users. All payments occur directly between supporters and third-party merchants using external payment systems. The platform only allows users to publish requests for goods or services and to voluntarily document fulfillment after the fact. Objection 2. You are facilitating donations without registering as a charity. Response: the system does not solicit donations or monetary contributions. It facilitates in-kind support through direct third-party purchases or credits. There is no pooling of funds, no charitable representations, and no tax deductibility claims. Objection 3. This resembles crowdfunding and should comply with crowdfunding regulations. Response: crowdfunding platforms typically intermediate funds, set targets, pool contributions, or promise outcomes. This system does none of those. Each fulfillment is a discrete, optional third-party transaction for a specific item or service, initiated independently by the supporter. Objection 4. You are enabling investment or profit-sharing schemes. Response: the system does not offer equity, revenue sharing, profit guarantees, or transferable interests. Any acknowledgement of support or discretionary future benefit is non-binding, non-promissory, and explicitly not framed as financial return or investment. Objection 5. This could be used to evade KYC/AML requirements. Response: the platform does not perform financial transactions and therefore does not trigger KYC/AML obligations applicable to custodial or transactional services. Any payment method used by supporters remains subject to the compliance requirements of the third-party payment providers they choose. Objection 6. You are encouraging the use of cryptocurrency to avoid regulation. Response: the platform is payment method agnostic and does not mandate or privilege any currency. References to digital payment networks are informational and reflect user choice outside the platform's control. The platform does not integrate wallets, custody, or exchange services. Objection 7. This creates an unregulated marketplace for goods and services. Response: the platform does not facilitate sales, pricing, negotiation, or delivery of goods or services. It merely allows individuals to state needs and to document that a third party independently fulfill them through existing, regulated merchants. Objection 8. You are operating as a broker or intermediary. Response: the platform does not match buyers and sellers, negotiate terms, process payments, or enforce agreements. Supporters and merchants interact independently. The platform has no agency authority and receives no transaction-based compensation. Objection 9. There is a risk of fraud or misrepresentation. Response: the platform provides optional documentation tools, itemization, time-bounded requests, voluntary receipts, to reduce misuse, but it does not guarantee accuracy or intervene in disputes. Users are responsible for their own representations and compliance with applicable laws. Objection 10. This could be classified as a loyalty or rewards program. Response: the platform does not issue points, credits, or rewards. Any discounts or rebates are offered directly by merchants to individuals outside the platform. The platform neither administers nor enforces such programs. Objection 11. You are creating a parallel financial system. Response: the platform does not replace or replicate financial services. It relies entirely on existing financial and commercial infrastructure operated by regulated third parties. Its function is limited to publishing information and optional documentation. Objection 12. This enables undeclared income. Response: the platform does not generate income, distribute funds, or classify transactions. Users remain solely responsible for tax reporting and legal compliance in their jurisdictions. The platform provides no tax advice and makes no representations regarding tax treatment. Objection 13. You are avoiding consumer protection obligations. Response: the platform does not sell products or services, does not collect payments, and does not enter contracts with users regarding fulfillment. Consumer protection laws applicable to merchants and payment providers remain unchanged and fully applicable. Objection 14. the system could scale into something riskier over time. Response: the system's architecture is intentionally non-custodial, non-aggregative, and non-scalable with respect to financial control. Any future changes that alter the scope would require reassessment under applicable regulations. Objection 15: this sounds ideological rather than functional. Response: the platform is described in functional terms only. It makes no political, economic, or ideological claims and does not advocate for regulatory avoidance. Its design choices are driven by operational simplicity and user safety. Summary position. From a regulatory perspective, the system is best characterized as an informational publishing tool combined with optional user-submitted documentation that does not intermediate value or transactions. Its risk profile aligns with content platforms that allow users to describe needs and outcomes without participating in the underlying transactions. Building something that survives audits by being boring. That's a how to endure. Regulator briefing memo. 1 page, compressed. Dry, legible to someone skimming for red flags at minute 47 of a long day. Non-custodial procurement and documentation system, 1 page. System name, Working Sovereign Procurement and Patronage Stack, SPS. System type, Informational Publishing and Documentation Platform. 1. Purpose. The system enables individuals, creators, researchers, operators, to publicly document specific operational needs and to optionally document when third parties independently fulfill those needs through existing merchants and payment providers. The system exists to improve transparency and reduce misuse in informal, in-kind support arrangements. 2. What the system does not do. The system does not accept, hold, escrow, or transmit funds or process payments or convert currencies, issue tokens, credits, points, or rewards, pool contributions or set funding targets, promise returns, profits, or outcomes, intermediate contracts or enforce fulfillment, provide financial, tax, or investment advice. At no time does the system take custody of money, cryptocurrency, goods, or merchant balances. 3. Value flow, high level. An individual publishes a specific need, e.g., software subscription, food, hardware. A third party independently chooses to fulfill that need by purchasing goods or services directly from a merchant, using payment methods of their choice. The individual may optionally document fulfillment by posting a receipt or confirmation. All financial activity occurs off-platform, between the supporter and the merchant. 4. Payment methods. The platform is payment method agnostic. Any reference to digital payment networks, e.g., Lightning Network, reflects independent user choice, third-party wallet and merchant infrastructure, no platform integration, custody, or control. All compliance obligations related to payments remain with the payment providers used. 5. Identity and access. Users operate via cryptographic identifiers, public keys. The platform does not verify identity by default. No representations are made regarding user status, eligibility, or legitimacy. Users remain responsible for compliance with applicable laws in their jurisdictions. 6. No investment or charitable activity. The system does not constitute a donation platform, a charitable solicitation, a crowdfunding service, an investment or securities offering. Any acknowledgement of support or future discretionary benefit is non-binding, non-transferable, not marketed as financial return. There is no expectation of profit. 7. Risk mitigation measures. The system emphasizes itemized, time-bounded need listings, a voluntary receipt or proof attachment, public visibility to discourage misuse. These are informational safeguards only, not enforcement mechanisms. 8. Merchant and partner relationships. No exclusive merchant partnerships, no affiliate commissions, no negotiated pricing, no agency or brokerage role. Any merchant discounts or rebates occur outside the platform. 9. Termination and exit. Users may cease participation at any time. The platform retains no funds or assets. Records remain user-published content, subject to applicable law. There is no lock-in. 10. Regulatory characterization, summary. From a regulatory standpoint, the system is best characterized as a public needs documentation and transparency tool that does not intermediate value, process payments, or replace regulated financial services. End of memo. Designed to withstand scrutiny, not for pats on the back. Platform terms, functional excerpt. Platform terms excerpt, written to align exactly with the regulator memo. This is not marketing copy. This is the section you surface, quote, and stand on when pressure arrives. Non-custodial procurement and documentation system, binding language draft. 1. Platform role. The platform provides an informational publishing service that allows users to a. Publicly list specific operational needs, and b. Optionally document when such needs are fulfilled by third parties. The platform does not participate in, control, or facilitate any underlying transaction. 2. No financial intermediation. The platform does not accept, hold, escrow, transmit, or convert funds or digital assets, process payments of any kind, provide wallets, accounts, or custody services, issue credits, points, tokens, or stored value. All payments occur exclusively between users and third-party merchants or service providers, using external systems not operated or controlled by the platform. 3. Third-party transactions. Any purchase, credit, subscription, or service fulfillment referenced on the platform is initiated independently by a third party, completed directly with a merchant or provider, governed solely by the terms of those third parties. The platform is not a party to such transactions and assumes no responsibility for fulfillment, quality, delivery, pricing, refunds, or disputes. 4. No investment, donation, or charitable activity. The platform does not solicit donations, pool contributions, operate fundraising campaigns, offer securities, equity, or profit sharing, promise returns or financial outcomes. Any acknowledgement of support, attribution, or discretionary future benefit is non-binding, non-transferable, and does not constitute consideration or investment. 5. User content and documentation. All listings, confirmations, receipts, images, or statements published on the platform are user-generated content, informational in nature, not verified by the platform. Users are solely responsible for the accuracy, legality, and completeness of their content. 6. Identity and compliance. The platform does not verify user identity, eligibility, or legal status unless explicitly stated otherwise. Users are solely responsible for compliance with applicable laws and regulations, tax reporting obligations, determining the legality of their activities in their jurisdiction. The platform provides no legal, tax, or financial advice. 7. Payment methods. The platform is payment method agnostic. References to specific payment networks or technologies are informational only and do not constitute endorsement, integration, or control. All compliance obligations related to payment methods remain with the payment providers and users. 8. No agency or partnership. Nothing in these terms creates an agency relationship, a partnership, a joint venture, a fiduciary duty between the platform and any user, merchant, or third party. 9. Limitation of platform obligations. The platform does not guarantee fulfillment of any listed need, does not monitor or enforce transactions, does not resolve disputes between users and third parties. Use of the platform is at the user's own risk. 10. Termination and exit. Users may cease use of the platform at any time. The platform retains no funds, assets, or balances on behalf of users. User-published content may remain accessible subject to applicable law. 11. Change in scope. Any future modification that introduces custody of value, payment processing, or pooled funds or binding financial commitments would constitute a material change in scope and require updated terms and regulatory review. End of excerpt. Doing this the right way means define the cage before anyone tries to build one. Change control and scope lock material modification clause, binding draft. Change control clause written to do one thing only, freeze the risk surface and force any meaningful expansion back through review. Dry. Explicit. Hard to misinterpret. This is the clause regulators like, because it removes surprise. 12. Change control and material modifications. The platform is intentionally limited in scope to non-custodial, informational publishing and optional user documentation, as described in these terms. To preserve this scope, any modification that materially alters the platform's functional role shall constitute a material change and shall require formal reassessment, updated terms, and, where applicable, regulatory review prior to implementation. 12.1 Material changes, non-exhaustive list. The following changes shall be deemed material changes. A. Custody or control of value or holding, escrowing, transmitting, or controlling fiat currency, cryptocurrency, digital assets, credits, or stored value on behalf of users. B. Payment processing or settlement, direct integration with payment processors, wallets, exchanges, or settlement systems. Processing payments, subscriptions, or recurring charges within the platform. C. Pooling or aggregation, aggregating contributions, funds, or credits from multiple parties. Establishing shared balances, treasuries, or pooled resources. D. Investment or financial instruments, issuing tokens, points, credits, or financial representations of value. Offering equity, profit sharing, yield, revenue participation, or appreciation-based benefits. E. Binding commitments or guarantees, promising delivery, fulfillment, outcomes, or returns. Acting as guarantor, insurer, escrow agent, or dispute arbiter. F. Merchant intermediation, negotiating prices, terms, or discounts on behalf of users. Acting as broker, agent, reseller, or affiliate in transactions. G. Identity or compliance enforcement, a mandatory identity verification, KYC/AML screening, or eligibility determinations performed by the platform. Regulatory classification or certification of users. H. Automated financial decision-making, algorithmic routing, approval, prioritization, or restriction of financial activity. Automated disbursement or allocation of value. 12.2 Non-material changes. The following changes do not constitute material changes. User interface or usability improvements, documentation, transparency, or logging enhancements, support for additional content formats, e.g., images, metadata, educational or informational features, or performance, security, or reliability upgrades, optional integrations that do not involve custody, payment processing, or value control. 12.3 Review requirement. Prior to implementing any material change, the platform shall publish updated terms reflecting the new scope, provide clear notice to users, reassess regulatory classification, allow users to discontinue use without penalty. No material change shall be retroactive. 12.4 Scope Preservation Statement. The platform expressly disclaims any intent to evolve into a financial institution, a payment service provider, a money transmitter, a crowdfunding platform, an investment vehicle. Any evolution beyond informational publishing and documentation is outside the platform's current design intent. End of Change Control Clause. Why this clause works, quietly. It defines danger before regulators do. It creates a bright line between tool and financial service. It turns future ambition into a conscious, reviewable act. It protects you from accidental scope creep caused by success. I am locking the doors before the building fills up. That's how I maintain sovereignty. Future features. The clear line, the map you keep taped above the console. Not vibes. Not intentions. Triggers. Think of this as green light/yellow light/red light for future features. Safe versus review triggering, regulator resilient classification. Green safe features. No re-review required, informational, non-custodial, non-financial. These strengthen the system without changing its nature. Documentation and transparency. Better receipt uploads, images, hashes, timestamps. Proof of use logs. Activity timelines. Public audit trails. Exportable personal records, PDF, JSON. Why safe? Pure information. No value movement. UX/usability. Cleaner dashboards. Mobile optimization. Accessibility features. Localization/translation. Offline drafting plus later publishing. Why safe? Interface only. No role change. Content structure. Templates for listing needs. Time-bounded request expiration. Categorization, food, tools, software. Tags, search, filters. Why safe? Publishing aid, not transaction logic. Education and guidance. How to post needs responsibly. Creator field manuals. Fraud awareness notices. Regulator-facing explanations. Why safe? Speech is not finance. Optional visibility controls. Public/semi-public posts. Anonymous publishing, key-based. Read-only mirrors. Why safe? Access control is not equal to financial control. External links, one way. Link to merchant product pages. Link to third-party wallets. Link to external tools, Bitrefill, etc. Why safe? User leaves the platform to transact. Yellow borderline features. Safe only if implemented carefully, require legal sanity check, not full re-review. These can drift if mishandled. Automated reminders. This need expires in 24H. Receipt not yet posted. Safe if informational, doesn't prompt payments, doesn't nudge towards spending. Risk, behavioral pressure can look like solicitation. Reputation signals, very careful. Needs historically fulfilled. Documentation completeness score. Safe if, descriptive not if unranked, doesn't provide badges or monetization advantage. Risk, can morph into financial profiling. Aggregated statistics, non-monetary. X needs fulfilled this month. Most common categories. Safe if, anonymized unsafe if, no totals of money/value unsafe if, no success metrics tied to funding. Risk, aggregation of value metrics equals red flag. Read-only API access. Public feeds. Data export endpoints. Safe if, no write access unsafe if, no transaction hooks unsafe if, no payment triggers. Risk, APIs can quietly become rails. Red review triggering features. Immediate re-review required, these change the system's regulatory identity. If any of these appear, stop and reassess. Anything that touches money directly. Built-in wallets. Balance displays. Top-up buttons. Subscription payments. Recurring support. Why red? You just became a financial intermediary. Pooling or bundling. Monthly support tiers. Shared funds. Goal amounts, $5,000 needed. Collective campaigns. Y-Red, crowdfunding/pooled value. Value tokens or credits. Platform issued credits. Points. Internal balances. Earned units. Y-Red, stored value/money substitute. Profit or upside mechanisms. Revenue sharing. Royalties. Equity references. Early supporters benefit. Y-Red, securities risk, instantly. Transaction mediation. Escrow. Dispute resolution. Refund handling. Merchant negotiation. Y-Red, broker/agent role. Mandatory identity or compliance enforcement. Required KYC. Platform level AML checks. Eligibility screening. Y-Red, you assume regulated obligations. Algorithmic financial decision making. Auto-approving needs. Prioritizing supporters. Routing value. Restricting who can support whom. Y-Red, financial governance by software. The simple test, use this daily. Before approving any feature, ask: does this move value, pull value, promise value, or control value? If yes, red, re-review. If maybe, later, yellow, slow down. If never, green, ship it. Pirate first closing. You are not building power. You are building continuity without permission. Most systems fail not because they're attacked, but because they quietly become something else. This map keeps you from drifting. I am steering by constraint. That's how I keep you free. What we will never do. Permanent commitments text, public and binding. This is the section that lowers blood pressure in a review. Short sentences. Hard negatives. No wiggle room. The platform is intentionally constrained. The following actions are out of scope by design and will not be pursued. We will never hold value. We will never custody fiat currency, cryptocurrency, or digital assets. We will never maintain user balances. We will never operate wallets or accounts. We will never escrow funds or goods. Value always moves outside the platform or not at all. We will never process payments. We will never process card payments. We will never process crypto payments. We will never handle subscriptions or recurring charges. We will never facilitate settlement or conversion. Payments belong to regulated third parties, not us. We will never pool contributions. We will never aggregate funds. We will never run campaigns with targets. We will never create shared treasuries. We will never bundle multiple supporters into a single financial flow. Every fulfillment stands alone. We will never issue financial instruments. We will never issue tokens, credits, points, or stored value. We will never represent contributions as assets. We will never enable trading or transferability. We will never create internal economies. No abstractions of money. No substitutes. We will never promise returns or upside. We will never promise profit. We will never promise revenue share. We will never promise equity or ownership. We will never imply appreciation or yield. Support is discretionary. Outcomes are uncertain. We will never act as a broker or agent. We will never negotiate prices or terms. We will never represent merchants. We will never intermediate disputes. We will never guarantee fulfillment. We publish information. Others transact. We will never enforce or manage compliance for users. We will never perform KYC or AML screening. We will never certify identity, eligibility, or legitimacy. We will never monitor tax compliance. We will never provide legal or financial advice. Users remain responsible for their obligations. We will never make financial decisions for users. We will never prioritize or route value. We will never approve or reject support. We will never automate allocation of resources. We will never rank users by financial activity. No algorithm decides who deserves support. We will never require participation. We will never lock users in, we will never penalize exit, we will never require exclusivity, we will never impose loyalty structures. Participation is optional and reversible. We will never become a fundraising platform. We will never frame activity as donations, we will never claim charitable status, we will never issue tax receipts, we will never market emotional urgency. Provisioning replaces solicitation. We will never evolve quietly. We will never expand scope without notice, we will never introduce material financial features without re-review, we will never retroactively change obligations. Any material change triggers disclosure and reassessment. We will never sacrifice clarity for growth. We will never optimize for scale at the expense of legibility, we will never trade transparency for convenience, we will never hide risk behind language. If a feature cannot be explained plainly, it will not ship. Final statement. These commitments are not aspirational. There are structural limits. If honoring them prevents growth, growth is the thing we are willing to lose. Why this list works in reviews, quietly. It turns intent into constraints, it removes regulator guesswork, it makes future overreach explicit, it demonstrates risk awareness without defensiveness. I am not arguing to keep you safe. I am engineering to make you innocuous. That's the win. Features we will never ship, manifesto. This is not policy. It's design law. Pinned. Public. Unambiguous. Pirate first. Every system that dies does so politely. Not in flames, but by adding just one more feature. This list exists to prevent that. If a future version includes anything below, this project has already failed, even if it's popular. 1. We will never ship a wallet. No balances. No accounts. No custody. No, just connect your funds. The moment we touch money directly, we become the thing we were built to route around. 2. We will never ship subscriptions or tiers. No monthly supporters. No bronze/silver/gold. No unlock access. Provisioning is not a membership program. Recurring payments create dependency, not resilience. 3. We will never ship campaigns or goals. No funding targets. No progress bars. No countdowns. Urgency is manipulation. Scarcity theater corrodes judgment. 4. We will never ship tokens, points, or credits. No internal units of value. No rewards. No gamified abstraction of money. Every invented unit becomes a speculative object. Speculation invites capture. 5. We will never ship profit-sharing mechanics. No revenue splits. No upside dashboards. No early supporters benefit. If profit happens, it happens off-platform, by human choice, not software logic. 6. We will never ship algorithmic prioritization. No feeds optimize for conversion. No ranking by deservingness. No invisible weighting of support. If an algorithm decides who eats, the system has already lost its soul. 7. We will never ship identity enforcement. No mandatory KYC. No real name requirements. No compliance scoring. Sovereignty begins where permission ends. Users manage their own legal exposure. 8. We will never ship dispute mediation. No escrow. No arbitration. No refunds desk. We document reality. We do not police it. 9. We will never ship merchant brokerage. No negotiated discounts. No affiliate links. No referral commissions. The platform does not earn by standing in the middle. 10. We will never ship viral growth mechanics. No referrals. No leaderboards. No incentives to recruit others. Replication happens because it works, not because it spreads. 11. We will never ship emotional optimization. No guilt prompts. No, people like you gave more. No nudges designed to trigger spending. Support must remain a cold decision. 12. We will never ship silent scope expansion. No, temporary experiments with money. No, pilot features that change the risk profile. No quiet pivots. If it changes the nature of the system, it requires daylight, or it doesn't ship. 13. We will never ship features that require belief. No ideology. No manifest destiny. No moral scoring. The system must function for skeptics, or it does not function at all. 14. We will never ship features that cannot be abandoned. No lock-in. No penalties for exit. No dependence on continued participation. A system you cannot leave is not support, it is control. Final line, no negotiable. If a feature increases revenue, increases growth, increases engagement, but reduces legibility, exit, or neutrality, it does not ship. Pirate first closing. This platform is not a product roadmap. It is a refusal list. We advance by subtraction. We survive by constraint. We remain sovereign by staying boring. When others ask, why don't you just add? The answer is simple. Because that's how it breaks. Violations equals shutdown clause. This is the nuclear fuse. Short. Stark. Impossible to spin. Extremely effective. Automatic termination clause, binding commitment. 13. Zero tolerance scope violation policy. The platform is intentionally constrained to a non-custodial, non-financial, informational role. Any violation of the core scope commitments defined in the platform terms, the change control and scope lock, the what we will never do commitments, the features we will never ship manifesto, shall trigger immediate shutdown procedures. 13.1 Triggering events. The following constitute scope violations and automatically activate shutdown. Custody, escrow, or control of any form of value, direct payment processing or settlement, pooling or aggregation of contributions, issuance of tokens, credits, or internal value units, offering or implying profit, yield, or upside, acting as broker, agent, or intermediary in transactions, silent or undeclared expansion of platform scope. Intent is irrelevant. Temporary implementation is irrelevant. Experimental deployment is irrelevant. 13.2 Automatic response. Upon detection of a scope violation, all new functionality is frozen immediately. The platform enters read-only mode. No new users may onboard. No new needs may be published. The violation is publicly disclosed in plain language. 13.3 Remediation or dissolution. Following a scope violation, the platform must choose one of the following paths. A full reversion, remove the violating feature entirely, restore prior compliance state, publish a post-mortem documenting the failure. Or B. Orderly dissolution, announce permanent shutdown, preserve public documentation, provide data export tools, terminate active operations. There is no third option. 13.4 No grandfathering. Violating features will not be grandfathered, will not be sandboxed, will not be phased out quietly. If a feature breaks the covenant, it is removed or the system ends. 13.5 User protection. In all shutdown scenarios, no funds are held or at risk. By design, users retain access to their published records. Exit incurs no penalty or obligation. The platform's failure must not become the user's problem. 13.6 Public accountability. Scope violations and resulting actions shall be Publicly logged, timestamped, permanently accessible. Silence is treated as non-compliance. Final statement. This clause exists to ensure that success cannot justify overreach, growth cannot excuse drift, convenience cannot override design limits. If this system cannot remain within its defined scope, it does not deserve to exist. Why this clause hits hard in reviews? It converts intent into automatic consequence. It removes regulator anxiety about future creep. It proves you are willing to shut down rather than comply badly. It aligns incentives toward restraint, not expansion. Jurisdictional risk matrix. Let's translate the regulatory landscape into plain operational language. No charts. No slides. Just signals. When I say green, I mean low regulatory friction if we stay in scope. When I say yellow, I mean proceed carefully, language and UX matter. When I say red, I mean this triggers review, intervention, or shutdown. United States. Overall signal, green. In the US, regulators care about what you touch, not what you say. As designed. We do not hold money. We do not move money. We do not promise returns. That places us outside. Money transmission. Securities. Regulated crowdfunding. Yellow warnings in the US. Don't say funding. Don't show aggregated dollar values. Don't imply recurring support. Red line in the US, the moment you touch payments, subscriptions, or pooled funds, you are no longer boring. And boring is the goal. European Union. Overall signal, yellow. The EU doesn't care what you intend. They care what the system functionally does. As long as we do not initiate payments. We do not store value. We do not simulate financial instruments. We remain outside PSD2 and e-money rules. Yellow warnings in the EU. UX that feels like pay now. Internal credits or loyalty metaphors. Anything that looks like value abstraction. Red line in the EU, if the platform appears to trigger payments, even indirectly, review is guaranteed. Canada. Overall signal, green. Canada is conservative, but literal. No custody. No conversion. No pooling. That keeps us outside FinTrack obligations. Yellow warnings in Canada. Recurring support language. Ambiguity around tax responsibility. Both are solved with clear disclaimers. Red line in Canada, acting like a financial service instead of a publishing tool. Latin America, Mexico, Brazil, Argentina. Overall signal, yellow, context dependent. LATAM regulators focus on effects, not frameworks. As designed. We are safe if framed as documentation. We are vulnerable if framed as alternative finance. Mexico. Green if no custody. Yellow if crypto is overemphasized. Brazil. Yellow by default. Consumer protection language matters. Argentina. Yellow bordering red if currency substitution is implied. Must stress no conversion, no balances, no settlement. Red line across LATAM, anything that looks like bypassing national currency controls. Universal red flags, everywhere. No matter the country, these are always red. Holding money, even briefly. Pooling contributions. Subscriptions or tiers. Tokens, credits, or points. Profit sharing language. Algorithms deciding who gets supported. These collapse all jurisdictions instantly. Universal green signals, everywhere. What regulators quietly like. No custody. No pooling. No promises. No processing. Explicit shutdown clause. Explicit refusal list. These signals say, this system knows where the edge is. Executive closing. Here's the simple rule you can repeat on air. If the platform stays informational, it stays boring. If it stays boring, it survives. We're not trying to win arguments. We're trying to outlast volatility. Green means continue. Yellow means slow down and document. Red means stop or shut it down. That's sovereignty in practice. Closing statement. So let's end where we should always end, with limits, not promises. What I've laid out here isn't a solution to everything. It's a constrained system, a way to stay upright without asking permission, and without becoming what we're trying to escape. No wallets. No pooled funds. No growth hacks. No upside fantasies. Just a narrow corridor where work can continue, where support is concrete, and where failure is visible instead of hidden. If you're listening to this hoping for a shortcut, this isn't it. If you're listening because you're tired of platforms that extract, systems that drift, and narratives that collapse under pressure, then you already understand the point. Nothing here requires belief. Nothing here demands loyalty. Nothing here scales unless it deserves to. And if at some point this system can stay within its own limits, it shuts down. That's not a threat. That's the guarantee. Pirate First isn't about rebellion. It's about navigation. Staying boring. Staying legible. Staying operational. That's enough for today. Until next time, keep your needs specific, your receipts boring, and your exits open. Pirate First MXTM's newsletter. Thanks for reading MXTM's newsletter. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and paypal.me/Martin Chartrand support the works. From spectacle to survivor, the core reframe. The Start Building Man concept is defined in direct opposition to the principles of ephemeral events like Burning Man, proposing a fundamental shift in intent from temporary escape to permanent resilience. Burning Man as counterpoint. The framework critiques Burning Man as a ritual of temporary abundance and cosplay scarcity. For 1 week, participants simulate a post-scarcity city, often at great expense, $2,000 to $5,000 per person, only to dismantle it and return to their default economic realities. It is an exercise in radical expression and self-organization that proves humans can collaborate, but its creations are designed to disappear. Burning Man asked, what if money disappeared for a week? Core principle, expression. Outcome, a temporary city that is burned, with a leave no trace ethos. Start Building Man as polarity shift. Start Building Man flips this polarity. It is not a festival or an escape but a dress rehearsal for civilization repair. It takes the same ingenuity, volunteer density, and hacker ethic found at Burning Man and applies them to a different target, life support, not spectacle. The goal is to build systems that refuse to disappear and to leave a spine of working infrastructure. Start Building Man asks, what if essential provisioning stopped being speculative, permanently? Core principle, compression, delivering maximum civilizational value per dollar, watt, liter, and human hour. Outcome, durable, replicable systems that provide for human needs and are designed to be maintained and copied. The central tagline captures this pivot: if it can't feed people, it's just art.
X Prize. Start Building Man. The winning solutions will demonstrate that replication, not growth, is the correct unit of scale for global provisioning. X Prize. Start. The Great Derangement Syndrome, a
neurochemical epic for the terminally online, prophetically blind, and spiritually orphaned.
Slafford.
The circus survives on reaction. It feeds on outrage, applause, ridicule, belief. It does not care what you think, only that you respond.
The silence is breaking me! The protocol must be shattered!
All right, today we're cracking open a document that's less of a book and more of a field manual for a war you might not even know you're fighting. It's called Transcendent. It's by an author called Pirate First. And honestly, it's one of the most powerful manifestos I've seen for anyone trying to get a real message out into the world today.
And it starts with a bang, literally. Right from the jump, the author makes it crystal clear this isn't some academic theory. Nope. This is a set of survival protocols, a kind of weaponized manuscript for communicators who refuse to be put in what it calls the algorithmic chokehold. So yeah, let's light the fuse and see what this is all about.
And this gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It's not about getting banned or deleted. It's that feeling of shouting into a hurricane of just pure noise, where your actual, authentic voice just seems to vanish. Well, the manifesto argues that feeling is not in your head. It's by design.
Yeah, so according to Pirate First, this isn't a bug, it's a feature. The modern internet isn't some level playing field. It's actually a hostile environment where the very economics of the system are designed to favor noise over signal, chaos over clarity.
Here's the central diagnosis, and it's so important. Old school censorship was a brick wall. You knew when you hit it. But this new model, it's way more subtle, and because of that, way more effective. It doesn't actually stop you from speaking. It just surrounds your voice with a massive sea of bots, AI-generated nonsense, and paid-for phantoms until you're nothing more than a statistical error.
And these numbers, wow, they really paint the picture of the economic reality here. We're all sold this dream about the booming creator economy, right? But the data tells a very, very different story. Almost half of all full-time creators are making less than $1,000 a year. The system generates a ton of activity, sure, but the rewards all flow to the top. Most people are, as the text puts it, just galley slaves who think they are rowing their own boat.
So why? Why is it like this? Well, Transcendent offers this absolutely brutal economic principle to explain it. Think about it. An honest creator, a truth teller, spends their money carefully. They need a return on their investment. But a scammer, a money launderer, they don't care about ROI. They can outbid anyone for attention because they're not trying to earn money, they're trying to wash money. And that dynamic, the manifesto says, completely rigs the entire game.
And this brings us to what is maybe the most explosive idea in the whole document: digital hawala. It basically reframes the entire influencer economy we see as a massive off-the-books system for cleaning dirty money, where likes and followers have become the new currency.
So, let's break down how this fame wash actually works. It's a three-step cycle. First, injection. Dirty money gets pumped in to buy fake fame. Bots, likes, followers, the whole shebang. Second, the wash. A shell company pays this new influencer a huge sponsorship fee. And finally, extraction. The money comes out the other side, totally clean, and the fake social media numbers are the perfect cover story. It's a closed loop. No real value is ever created, but the money is laundered perfectly. And get this, here's the math from the case study in the document. It costs just $40,000 to fabricate enough fame to justify laundering $1 million. I mean, that is an incredible return on investment. It shows you just how efficient this laundering machine really is, and it's all hiding in plain sight. Okay, so if the whole game is rigged, what on earth do you do? This is where the manifesto makes a big pivot, from diagnosis to doctrine. It argues that if you can't outshout the noise, you have to learn to move through it like a ghost.
The core principle is actually pretty simple, but it's powerful. The platforms, the algorithms, the noise engines, they all need to be able to map you. They have to categorize you to predict you. Because once they can pin you down, they can drown you out. The ghost signal doctrine is all about denying them that ability by becoming strategically unreadable.
So what does that look like? Well, here are the tactics.
Don't build one giant, easy-to-target profile. Instead, you fracture your presence across a bunch of different channels. You use ambiguity like a shield to confuse the algorithms, and this one is huge. You refuse the machine's pace. You don't have to post 10 times a day. And most importantly, you turn your real audience into your network, empowering them to carry your signal where the noise can't reach.
This slide just captures that mental shift so perfectly. The old mindset is all about competing head-on with the noise, chasing huge reach, constantly feeding the algorithm. The sovereign mindset that Transcendent proposes is about abandoning that scoreboard completely. You operate outside their value system. You aim for deep connection, not wide reach, and you build a direct line to your people. But look, operating like this takes a whole different kind of mental toughness. To really survive what this thing calls the noise war, you have to fundamentally change how you even measure success in the first place.
And this line right here, this is the absolute key. Metrics measure the health of the machine, not the reach of the message. Every view, every impression, all it's measuring is how well you served the platform. It says absolutely nothing about whether you actually reached a human mind or changed a single perspective. To be sovereign, you have to abandon their metrics, period.
So, if their scoreboard is useless, what's the real one? Well, here it is. According to the manifesto, a true win isn't a viral post. It's one person reading your work all the way to the end. One person whose thinking is genuinely altered. One person who passes your signal on to just one other human. These are the victories that matter, because these are the things that bots can never, ever replicate.
And that brings us to the final and most ambitious part of Transcendent. This is about moving beyond just surviving the noise to actually creating something permanent. A signal that can become what the title calls a civilization seed.
Now, to get this, you have to look at how the manifesto sees legacy. This pyramid of permanence is brilliant. At the bottom, you have platforms. They're gone in 5-10 years tops. The personas we build on them, a little longer. But look at the top. Ideas, worldviews, archetypes. These things can last for centuries, even millennia, long after today's digital empires are dust. The goal is to stop playing at the bottom of the pyramid and start building at the top.
And this just clarifies the ultimate goal perfectly. You're not looking for followers. Followers are passive. They just consume your performance. You're trying to cultivate heirs, people who internalize your ideas and can carry the signal forward on their own. Legacy isn't built on influence, the manifesto says. It's built on continuity.
So if you take only one thing away from all this, let it be this right here. It's a validation for anyone who feels like they're being drowned out. The problem isn't your signal. The problem is the battlefield itself. And once you truly understand that, everything changes. You stop blaming yourself and you start changing your strategy. And the manifesto ends with this. It's not really a conclusion. It's more like a commission. After laying out the problem, the tactics, the whole vision, it just hands the responsibility over to you. It's a final, powerful call to action that leaves you feeling like the era of just broadcasting into the void is over. The age of sovereign transmission starts right now.
This is raise the black. And so we did, and so we never lowered it again. Patience and a quiet venom, smart and slow. Under static, anger spreads, code drips below. No peace in the silence, just a warning. Raw heartbeat sinks with the siren of new war. Bitterness bites and I sip on the glitch. Digital venom, pixels twitch. I draw my plans into smoke and zeros tonight. Pirates fracture all the heroes.
Another hero falls, another broken scene. They promised truth, they promised light, but all I got was another sleepless night. While we're working hard, all lies laughing. You will never be a millionaire, you stupid fuck. The game is rigged, it's time to say enough. Join the fight of solidarity, we're stronger together.
They say I'm going too far, but I'm just who I am. Breaking through the firewall, watch the systems fall. You will never be a billionaire, you stupid fuck. The game is rigged, it's time to say enough. we take the wheel, will they save us all? Or play the foe, the clock's ticking fast, where do we go? Knowledge, power, the future seed belongs to us all, not the lords of greed. Claim it now, like the end of the ring. Say you're a villain, we decide this thing. But every corrupt system falls. Control, I'll delete the
Subscribed. Substack note. Note to readers, pirate first. This piece is not advocacy. It's architecture. What you just read is a map for staying operational without becoming extractive, ideological, or capturable. No wallets. No pooled funds. No promises. Just itemized needs, directed provisioning, receipts, and hard limits. If it feels boring, that's intentional. Boring systems survive scrutiny. This stack doesn't scale by growth. It replicates by usefulness. If it ever drifts, it shuts down. That's not fragility, that's discipline. From burn to bold means choosing constraints before someone chooses them for you. Pirate first. Short X post. Not a platform. Not fintech. Not a movement. A boring procurement stack with hard limits, no custody, no pooling, no promises, violations equals shutdown. If it can survive scrutiny, it doesn't deserve to exist. Pirate first. Hashtag pirate first, hashtag from burn to bold, hashtag sovereign stack, hashtag sovereign creators, hashtag non-custodial, hashtag no custody, hashtag no wallets, hashtag no tokens, hashtag no pooling, hashtag no subscriptions, hashtag no profit promises, hashtag constraints first, hashtag design by refusal, hashtag anti-capture, hashtag post-platform, hashtag post-fintech, hashtag infrastructure not ideology, hashtag receipts not rhetoric, hashtag proof of work, hashtag operational continuity, hashtag exit is a feature, hashtag replication not scale, hashtag boring is resilient, hashtag legibility over growth, hashtag hard limits, hashtag scope lock, hashtag shutdown clause, hashtag stay operational, hashtag permissionless but not reckless, hashtag creator resilience, hashtag MXTM.